little over a year.
And you thought it was going to be a great place to work, huh?
Yeah, until I was here for a little bit and saw how they treated their employees.
And what are you studying?
I'm just going for general studies at the moment.
We're part of the Teamsters belong to a global union federation that represents commercial workers everywhere around the world, including a strong network of IKEA unions in Sweden, in Germany, and all over the world. And so we've been informing the unions around the world at IKEA about what's going on here. And they sent us to get a better idea from you directly about what the issues are.
Yeah, definitely.
What conflict is going on so far. So we got a real good orientation from Anita and the leadership of Local 213 about what's been going on in the negotiations and everything since the store first opened in 1979 all the way up to the last negotiations in July. So,
Yeah.
So we're here to be in solidarity with it.
Yeah, definitely. I used to hear that IKEA used to treat their employees with respect a long time ago, but I guess that went out the window now. No respect anymore.
And, the International Transport Workers Federation that Aaron represents is transportation unions all over the globe. Teamsters are also affiliated there. And Peter is from the Nordic Transport Workers Federation, so all the transportation workers in Sweden and 4 other countries in the northern part of the country.
We want a new contract!
Hey!
Denmark, Finland, Sweden, Norway, and Iceland.
Oh, in Iceland.
Okay. And Faroe Islands.
Faroe Islands.
What's happening?
We're just going around talking to the workers right now. Getting some video footage.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. Yeah. So shall we keep on?
Keep the long way. Go the Swedish way.
You'd see.
Yeah. I'll see you out in the line. I see you on a regular basis. So.
With these guys, you know, leg injuries, playing football, and concussions, I'd still come in and work. You know, and sick days, 12 a year, I never use any. You know, I just treat me like this. And it's like, come on, man. Just, I'm not doing it. It's not embarrassed. My parents, they're not impressed, and all my friends, and even the guys I play football with, a lot of guys aren't union people. They still think it's quite disgusting.
There was a time where this was a good place to work?
It was an excellent place to work. Like I said, I'd come in with injuries, like ankle injuries, knee injuries. So I'd come in and work, you know, even had a concussion. They treated me so well that I was quite willing to come in, even on my day off, to work with these guys. But, you know, it's I don't want to use a negative word, but it's Swedish Walmart. You know, and that's what it is. You know, you treat people well and they'll respond well. But you treat me people like poor, no. In 6 months now I've been waiting to get back. I haven't had a chance to go see my parents. You know, they're up in Cranbrook. That's quite a distance away. They're in their late 70s and still waiting for 5 weeks of holiday pay that they still owe me and stuff like this.
Why do you think the proposals to cut back, like on the benefit package? You know, doesn't sound like anything particular you guys have. It's all that terrific.
I mean, I can understand if you're really hurting, you're working at a corner store in mom and dad's place, you know, and if it's not doing well, then okay, you take a pay cut to help out the company. But if you can afford $100 million and buy from here up to the far end there, then you're not hurting. You know, and you're putting how many stores a month, a year in North America? Another 10, 11, 12, something like that, at 190 or 90 million a store. You're not hurting. Personally, I think it's just union busting, that's it. They just want to be able to crush you and just do what they want with you. Treat you like, I think it's quite disrespectful personally, but you know, it's hard to ever respect and trust these guys ever again. It's going to be difficult to do that. At least for me it is. You know, after all those years, 27 years of service. And we were here too at the very beginning when this was the only store in North America. You know, and we're so proficient they'd send other people from other stores in to, you know, learn from us on how to do things. And we helped build this company up from what it was, from one store in North America to what it is now.
What do you think this is doing to the reputation of IKEA around Canada?
Canada, I'm not sure. Not very good, because you know, my sister and my brother-in-law and my parents and everybody else knows about this. Well, the guys and I play soccer in the morning, 30 of those guys, they all know what's going on. They're telling their families. I got friends who run a couple of fairly big companies, and he thinks it's disgusting. You he runs like a very large
Can you
company.
guys just hang here for
National
a second? I'll grab my
thing.
video camera.
Grand
as well.
George.
I'm going to try to get some
I think it was quite disgusting.
footage as well.
This,
It would be
he's
so
gonna
very
grab my
video
video.
camera.
It's not just here. I think it's worldwide. Everybody's kind of starting to get a bit aware. And how are you going to get your customers back? You know, those are our bread and butter. They're the ones who pay my wages. You start tainting their view in the company. What are they going to do then? How do you get those people back?
Isn't there sort of IKEA way? Isn't there a whole culture of co-workers and everybody?
Well, there was. You know, and then they cut back the golf tournament and all these other things they used to do for us that just non-existent anymore. Just don't know how they lost their way, or I don't know what their agenda is now. I really don't know. You're the only one to know what their agenda is. I don't know if it's just a couple of people back east who are just control freaks, or I don't know. I don't want to be rude, but I really just can't tell you what their mindset is now. For me, it's just lack of trust, lack of faith in the company now.
Well, you're standing up here is good for all of us. It's good
Yeah,
for
well,
working
thank you.
people because
Thank you
we
guys
need
for turning up. We need everybody. Thanks for turning up.
Guys are really
Thank you. Yeah, there's one other people in here who's 30 years, 40 years, I know some of these guys. And
How long have you been with me?
27 years.
27 years.
Over half of my life I've
Yeah.
spent here. Like I said, I'll play on the weekends and concussion. I still come in and bad knee injury across those, but I owed it to the company because they treated me so well. Now you kind of think, what's their agenda?
You're not playing for Man United.
Oh, are you kidding? I wish. Yeah, I'd pay for a lot less than those guys. I'd pay for £5,000 a week.
So you've probably done a lot of different jobs in the store.
Yeah, I did maintenance, mainly the warehousing. We did like 5 years of graveyard shift, 9:30 at night to 6 in the morning, and before they started, we were up at 1 in the morning on Saturday to come in at 2, but every day of the week we're up at 2, and that kind of kicks you apart, but that's part of the job, right?
Oh,
And we got a bit of a premium to get up early, and they want to take part of my premium away, and it's like, I'm sorry, man. I didn't work for this many years to go backwards. My niece works at TELUS. She's been there for 3 years. She makes more after 3 years answering the phone than I do working in their warehouse for 27 years. So, I'm not angry about the wages. It's just not going backwards. So, don't eliminate the middle class. Who pays for all your goods? It's the middle class. The poor can't afford stuff, so they're not going to buy your stuff. But it's the middle class. Once you eliminate them, where's your base income from? Buying stuff. Well, thank you guys for coming out. I really appreciate that. Hopefully these guys will do better. It's an 8th place. Who do you support?
You will look quite nice in a Tottenham
Is that?
cap.
I'm a Spurs fan.
Spurs fan.
Yeah, exactly.
My uncle's Arsenal. My mom's from Twickenham. My dad's a pensioner, Chelsea fan.
Right.
From Leatherhead. So we don't have any clashes. We just hug each other a lot. That's all.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's all right. That's all right. There's like a slang these guys don't understand. We like talk. They don't have a clue, so that's good. Okay, yeah, there's the other guys down there. There's Roger.
Karen, you're an inspiration. All of you are an inspiration.
I heard all about her.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, Tim.
Hello, Peter from Sweden.
Pete from Sweden. Hi, how are you? And
Erin
Aaron.
from ITF London.
Oh, from London.
Yeah.
Hi.
How do you do?
Steve. Hi. Oops. Yeah. So,
Yeah, we had a good meeting today.
good.
We talked about a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Guys have got a lot of information.
Yeah, Anita gave us a full presentation on all the details of
Yeah.
what's been going on with you since 1979, but particularly
Right.
since 2007.
Okay.
And the two-tier, and then getting the
Right.
two-tier back out again, and now they want to try and put it back in
Right.
again, or that was one of the proposals anyway. So an idea of some of the dynamic going on. What do you think is at the bottom of it? What do you think is going on? The
personally
company, it's not like the company's not making any money.
No, I mean, I think they're trying to get rid of the union is one thing.
And why? Why do they want to get rid of the
Why
union?
do they want to get rid of the union?
What don't they like about you?
I think that they want to have kind of autonomy. They want more control over what goes on. They want the right to use people, like have maybe people work when they want them to work, and then just easy come, easy go. They want the staff and the working hours to reflect not a steady work. They want just people when they need them, and then get rid of them when they don't. They want more flexibility in there without consideration for people's lives and that people can't live without a regular income. Or
The last 6 months, what's it meant for you at home? And
for me, it hasn't. I'm a part-time worker. I've been here for 8 years, but for me, financially, it hasn't been a huge problem for me personally. My son just started working here a year ago, so there's a lot of other young people who are not, who haven't been here that long, and it's going to be more, it'll affect them a lot more than it would affect me. So for me, it has affected me with benefits, and that would be a continuous thing, especially if they decrease our benefits. But I can see the way, you know, their offer was basically, to me, it's reduce the number of people that will be that will hit the hours required to get family benefits. That's going to they haven't come and said, this is what it'll look like when you come back here. This are the hours. This is an example of how it will be, but in my eyes, I see that it's going to be a lot worse than they're trying to portray it. I think it's going to have a huge effect on the. But the purpose of doing it, money, bottom line, I don't know, and I'm not familiar with IKEA Global, how many other IKEA stores are unionized. I think a lot in Europe, but obviously North America, no. But it's also, I mean, the labor movement in general has been really targeted recently, and I think that this is just an important, because IKEA is such a large company. Perhaps there's support from other large companies that are, but I'm not sure. I'm really not like anyone else. I don't have the answer, but I think we have to look at what it costs to live here in Vancouver too. It's an expensive city to live in, so in order to provide a living wage, I think we have to keep our salaries to what they were.
And what are some of the things that the company has been talking to you about this dispute in terms of communicating to the workers about what's going to happen? Has it tried to
get you to come back?
What are some of the things it said to make you come back? Or
well, I feel like there's been a lot of, like, the people that are in there now that have crossed the line. My guess is a very small number of them are in there because they don't believe in the union. They're in there for the money. There's a lot of young people who don't care about where they'll be next year or whatever. So it's bribery, offering you bonuses to come back now. Just telling you it's going to be a long time if you don't. Yeah, I mean, I hear people are getting paid higher than the top wage right now. So it's an unrealistic work environment right now in the store. So, yeah.
Anyone else been involved? Have you heard from any other organisations about this dispute?
Like personally, or you mean other organizations as in other unions? I mean, we've had support from other unions.
No, I mean, we heard something about they were giving out cards to people to call a number.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah, they were giving you, Labor Watch. Did you guys come down next week? I haven't contacted them, and I think at the time when I got it, I did look on the internet to see what it was, but I had heard that it was kind of an anti-union organization. Yeah.
Do you know anyone who's contacted them?
No.
What did they have to say? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know anyone personally, and it was a while ago that they did that. It was in the first month or so. And I was never called personally, like I heard of other people being called, but
They've been called by
people within the store management asking, you know, trying to get them to come back. Oh,
Okay.
Please. Even maybe a month or so ago, I know someone that was called. But I don't know if it's because I made it clear that I wasn't coming back. I have no idea why certain people were targeted, or but it's kind of sad. I just feel like it's nobody, even the people in there, managers. I don't know if they really know what's going on. You get the feeling that everybody's being told from above what to do, and they're just doing their job. Like this security guards, you know, they're being told to keep the cameras in our faces, and that's what they do. So it's kind of sad because there are a lot of friendships.
Did you see? You see, that's an example right there.
Yeah, they were sitting in the car filming earlier.
See, that is an example of what we do on a daily basis.
I'm not. I don't consider myself a troublemaker. So when I'm out here, I feel like I get along with everyone who's the security, the traffic guards. I don't have a problem with people. I just turn my back on them and don't listen to them if it feels like they're. But and I'm just do what I'm told that I'm allowed to do. But talking to people.
And there's been no trouble on this line, picket line, is there?
Really? Yeah,
So why do you think they're filming over
Oh, you mean, yeah.
there? What's that about?
You see over here, perfect example.
It feels like
Filming.
it's a way of making you uncomfortable about what you're doing. It's like crossing the border into the U.S. So in your face, you feel guilty even though you're totally innocent. So it's a little bit intimidating and making you feel like you're not worthy, or you know, like you are locked out in a cage, kind of. Yeah. And you know, of course, that's some customers, not a lot, might yell at you, get back to work, you know. But typically, they don't even ask what's going on, so they're getting a one-sided story from the information that's being passed out inside. Yeah.
How long do you think you will continue with this?
Well, because of the way it's been going so far, I suspect maybe another 6 months. The way they're not indicating any that
So you're determined to stay here as long as this
Oh yeah,
is
yeah,
ongoing.
yeah. I think most people are determined to stay. Yeah, no one's going to give up now. Nobody's going to cross the picket line now. And I mean, and they must know that nobody's going to cross now. So if we're all out here and they're willing to keep this up for 6 months, you know, what does a company have to gain by that? I don't know what happens when you have billions of dollars, but maybe there's, I'm not sure.
Do you think that's what it was? They miscalculated your strength here, your resolve, your determination? I think they thought you'd be back in a week. Let's give them a go.
I'll go with that. I don't think so.
they had a lot of things prepared in advance, so I think that they kind of knew. And I mean, even if you think about the last contract that they offered us, it was kind of like, you know, it was quite insulting to think that somebody is not going to figure out that this is not a realistic contract to set your sales goals for the next 6 years and expect people to accept that. I mean, they don't do that. They don't set their own sales goals for the next year. They change it. So why would you sign a contract like that? So I don't know.
What's your view on that?
I think they were prepared from the beginning. Because I mean, the day of the lockout that morning, they had the fences already up. They were already prepared. They had in place, if you wanted to cross, basically, this is where you can park your car. This is how you can get into the store. This is, you know, all the secured routes and, you know, access points, and it was all explained. You know, if you wanted information, you could get it. Yeah, so I think it was prepared, and they were willing to, you know, I mean, the fences are an indication that that's been set up. The fences at the other warehouse where they have
Going in was one of the cleaners.
That walked in as one of the cleaners.
That, you know, just notice.
Brown jacket.
But do you think they were expecting it to go this long?
I agree with Karen that they're willing to stick it out for the union to be busted. That's their intention, and I think that they have had this plan for a long time.
Don't cry.
I don't think that it's something that they are willing to.
Some girls like it when you cry in front of them. Old sensitive.
I don't know why they see that they have to get rid of the union, but they see it as something that's bad. I'm not sure what the reason for that mindset is. And, you know, you put it in the concept of we make more money. Well, we're the first store in Canada, first store in North America. We've, in a sense, brought IKEA to this region, so why wouldn't we be making good wages? You know, to expect that someone who's been here 30 years should be making $12 an hour, I don't think that's really realistic. And not everyone wants to be a manager. So, you know, you have to look at it in that perspective. You know, it's kind of one of those things where how, you know, if you were in a company for that length of time, I'd expect you to be at a decent wage. You know, and I don't think that's unreasonable to think of any company to be at a decent wage.
And who are they comparing? You know, when they compare the IKEA to other, you know, to other retail, I don't know who exactly they're comparing us to, because I can't think of another company that operates in the same way as IKEA in the first place. So to compare us to Walmart or
Anita offered us a comparison with a nearby Costco.
Yes.
The top rates, in fact, are above what the top rates are here.
Yes, yeah.
I should have all the details, but it certainly seems like you're not now competitive with other big box stores.
Yeah.
And I think that they compare, like the restaurant is one of the ones that they constantly compare us to as restaurants. And restaurant is a hard one to compare us to. Our restaurant is the largest restaurant. It seats 700 people. It's one of the largest restaurants, I believe, in the Lower Mainland. I think it was over 12 when they built it. North America. Something, not even just for IKEA, but for like the area, what we can actually see. So to say that our restaurant staff shouldn't be paid a decent wage for what they're actually having to do in there, the volume of customers that are going through there is crazy, you know, so yeah, there's a lot that they do, you know, and you can't put it that, you know, and I think going back to the previous contract with the different wage scales that they, you know, included different wage scales going back a while ago, moved different people down on scales, and, you know, just, it's been a game that they've been playing for a long time.
They also said that this is a new building. Huh? You just moved in here about a year ago?
Yeah.
That this building was supposed to be set up to maximize the amount of sales, but we were told really there's some problems with the way this thing is set up. Huh?
The lot right beside us over there is actually the planned lot for the next warehouse. So the full-serve warehouse is on the back side here, right? Yeah, it's kind of right along here. So the plan is that they'll build the other additional warehouse onto here. But of course we can't build the next, this is what we've been told, that we can't build the next warehouse until our sales are better. Well, we're never going to get our sales better if you're not going to give us the stock.
And we're not able to carry full volume in this.
And I mean, and I've been a, you know, I was in charge of sofas and wall units. I've stepped back and I'm a part-time student now. And so for me, I would be constantly battling with the fact that I couldn't carry certain sofas. We could carry one piece, but we couldn't carry the cover, and we would be sending them to Coquitlam. And
But now it's like, yeah, you
create that
you
too.
don't have the stocks, you can't sell the product, and because so your sales appear as low. So because they're low, they order in less stock. I mean, it's just this cycle, and there's and this has been going on for a while. So I feel like they haven't done anything personally to increase the sales in the store. They haven't. They've pointed fingers and they've walked through and said things like, "Sell, sell, sell." And there's like,
or it's receiving fault, or it's this fault, or it's that fault, and it's never taking ownership in the fact that you build a new warehouse and you have a store that's way too close. We know that it's too close, and they carry the full range. Well, they're technically the same size, so how can they carry the full range? You know, I mean, I remember going up to Wall Units and there was a $500 bookcase that somebody wanted, and we couldn't sell it to them. We couldn't even order it into them. Oh, you can go to Coquitlam.
yeah.
And you get that. You get one customer who has that experience a couple times. They're just going to go to Coquitlam.
Yeah,
So it's just going to
and
create
that was happening in the old store, like
and
all
that's,
the time.
So it's been happening since we were in the old store, and then you build a new store.
So the new store, we weren't supposed to have those problems, and so then even since we've been in here, they were reducing the stock.
Yeah,
we were full store, and now we're no longer full store. Yeah. So I've never heard them come forward and say, this is what we've been doing as your managers in order to increase the sales in the store. I've never had anybody come to me with that.
And you've had like 5 different managers in the last 6 years?
Store managers? Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few. And a high turnover in the, just the other managers in the store. Seems to be a high turnover.
I mean, it sounds to me like some of the problems you're describing would have to be bad management. If you had 5 different managers in the last 6 years, that could contribute to it.
Bringing in people who, without IKEA background, not providing them with enough training. Just causing a lot of mayhem. It's frustrating working in the store. I've been finding it before we went out. It's kind of to the point where you feel like a lost cause because nobody was, if there was an issue and it was reported, it wasn't followed up on, and I don't know. Yeah, just poor management is what it looks like. Yeah, to me, I mean, or I think to anyone who looked at, you don't look at the people at the bottom, you look at the top.
And I think that also correlates into the fact of how long this has been planned for. If you want to have something that's planned, you create poor management, which continually creates a feeling that it's always the staff's fault. So then they feel it's our fault, so we can't do anything about it. But and that's sort of where I think it's sort of that hard line of going, how much can we own? It's really, we are the workers, we want to be working, but if you don't provide us the tools to work, we can't work. If we don't have stock, we can't work, And, we fought for a long time to get a new building, which is great, beautiful, but there was issues in receiving goods flow that, it didn't run as smoothly as they expected it to. So
we don't have enough space in our warehouse for the volume that we're doing right now. We were holding sofas on our loading dock just so that we could meet up with the volume that we're doing as far as the products themselves.
Even carrying sofas in trailers, like just keeping trailers in the back.
Literally just to keep the productivity flowing. We've had to come up with alternative methods ourselves to try to keep up with the volume that we're doing. This store made a profit last year. We just didn't make record profits. The company consistently has made record profits worldwide. It is a known fact, and it's on the internet. I printed off a lot of these things right here.
Yeah, last time I was in Washington, all the IKEA stores are doing profits.
Most people know that, okay? It's not an unknown fact. This is on several different sites. This is actually on IKEA's very own site, saying IKEA's net profit for year 09 up 11.3% to 2.5 billion pounds. This is a known fact that IKEA is consistently making record profits worldwide. I have been wearing this sign, people before profit. IKEA has 9 points. One of these points is profit gives us resources, a better everyday life for the many people. To reach our goal, we need resources. That would be us. This forces us to develop products economically, to purchase better, and to cut cost. And I don't believe cutting cost involves us. I don't think that's fair. I think we've worked hard to bring this company where it is right now. This company has done very, very well as a result of its employees, and you can certainly tell by the amount of people that are passing by honking right now that there's a lot of support. You can look at the empty parking lot right now and notice that a lot of customers outside of the employees and IKEA are in support of this. That they know what's going on right now. They don't feel that it's fair that IKEA is doing this to its employees. I'd like to give this to you guys so that you guys can bring that to IKEA and just ask them to remember who it is that has helped them bring this company to the point that it is right now. We're the strong and we're the many. We are a union, and a union means together, and we're happy at that.
How long have you been working?
I've been working here for 14 years now. I have a full-time job elsewhere, and I have a wife and a child to support. My hours have been watered down to 5 hours a week here. I have a wife and a child to support. I cannot do it on 5 hours a week. I've had to scrounge for hours to get hours and make up for that 5 hours. As a result, I don't end up getting benefits at IKEA because my hours have been watered down so much. I don't think that's fair that IKEA does that to an employee who's been here 14 years. I am available 25 to 30 hours a week. I work hard for this company, as do a lot of other people in this store.
And the benefits kick in at 15 and 24, is that
right now
correct?
at 20 right now.
It's been 15 and 20.
Okay.
Because my hours have been cut down so much, I don't maintain that, and I feel that it's done on purpose. They have spread out the schedule so much that I basically am getting 5 hours scheduled with 5 hours a week. 5 hours a week. I want to emphasize that.
And then make you up with other people, other more part-timers who are on.
Basically, if the volume is there, which it consistently is, I get asked to come in. Would you like to come in tomorrow? Sometimes even that morning, I get a call at 5 o'clock in the morning. Can you come in today? Someone's called in sick, and that's just so that I can get those hours. It's really unfortunate. This used to be a family. We used to be a very bonded store, especially in the old store. When Ingvar Kamprad was in charge, I noticed that we had a lot of functions where we were involved as employees, and we don't see that anymore. It's all about this now. It is literally all about this. It's not about the employees who have helped bring this company to where it is right now. I just don't think that's fair. And I'm very passionate about that statement. Thank you.
Fantastic. Shall we keep on moving a little bit and meet some of the other guys? Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Gals.
Thank you.
And here we got Aaron Vandermaas. He's with the International Transport Workers Federation, based out of London. So they're here as part of the global contingent. Of course, we got Michael right there. He's with the UFCW. He's also a uni representative. So uni, of course, is a 15 million member union. ITF, I think that's sitting around 5 million
7.5 on the website, but you know, who knows.
But they're pretty much
big to laugh at them.
You know, when you combine them all, they're pretty much the largest unions really on the planet. And yeah, so they're here to help. And yeah, I want to thank them for being here, and they're here to listen to you guys as well.
And take your messages to a wider audience. So we'll be filming, listening for your stories, your experiences here, so we can take those back, share them in Sweden, in Europe, and elsewhere. So
are you sharing these with IKEA in Sweden? Yes. That's good. Well, I'll tell you something. I've been with IKEA a long time. I've been here 32 years. Started when I was a young dad, and when I first started here, this was a company that really was concerned about their staff, about how they were treated, their families, their personal issues. And as a young dad at the time, of course, I had family issues, personal issues, or whatever. And the way that they dealt with me was, you need to take care of yourself, and then when you come back to work, we'll work the details out. It was never an issue of you can't go, or we won't help you, or we won't deal with this. It was always about me. It was always about the staff. That has changed big time. For me, it started about 8 years ago. That's when it started.
So about 2007.
Yeah, 2006, 2007. That's when I started to notice a change. As a union shop, we have stewards that help us deal with situations that come up. I can personally tell you that I have never talked to a shop steward about an issue with IKEA until 2 years ago. In 6 months, I had to file 6 grievances.
So in 32 years, you've never filed a grievance?
So just lately.
And in the last, how long?
Couple, 3 years.
Okay.
That's, and you know,
on what sort of issues?
Well, and I'm sure you've heard or you'll hear about this story, they had changed the payroll system 3 or 4 years ago. And what happened was there was all kinds of issues with the pay. And some people weren't getting paid at all. Some people were getting double pay and everything in between.
Yeah.
And one of the individuals was short on his check, like almost 80% of us at one time or another. And it was a $200 difference that they owed him. So he went up, talked to HR, told him that he needed to get paid. They made a mistake, gave him the documentation, showed him that he had proof of what needed to be done. It took months. And with our contract, we had a clause in there stating that after so many days, you would get a 5% cumulative. It cost him like $8,000. It cost IKEA $8,000. This kid never got paid for whatever it is, 7, 8 months. I mean, that was an extreme circumstance. Most of us got paid within a couple of weeks or whatever. But you know, as an employee, you come in, you punch the clock, you do your time, you should be paid. And if mistakes happen all the time, I'm not saying they don't, because they do, but when they do, take care of it. You should be able to go to people, be it your HR, be it your manager, whatever, whoever deals with it, and you should be able to show them what's going on, and it should be dealt. It should be dealt with right away, and it wasn't.
So, in terms of the current disputes, what's your thinking of what's going on? It's gone on now for 6 months. What's behind it, or what's the agenda here?
Personally, I think it's just union breaking.
That would be more support.
They've tried intimidation. They've tried bullying tactics.
What sort of things they've been doing?
More so on the line. More so out here.
So what do they do? What would be an instance of that?
Well,
I mean, IKEA like to present themselves as a union-friendly company. you know, in a global perspective, they use the Swedish model as this is what we're all about. They've got it written down in their documents. So anything we can document here that call that into question is really important, you know.
Well, cameras is one example. In your face. As we're talking to customers as they enter the building, we're trying to give them information either verbally or through pamphlets. They'll come out and move along, you know, kind of thing, sort of thing. But I'll give you an example, which I think is really wrong. Back in 2011, I ended up where I had to go on a work accommodation. So I had gone to the company. I had gone to my boss first, then I had gone to HR, and then I had gone to the manager of the store. And I had basically said what they were doing is they were changing the hours, the work hours. And IKEA, especially in the last 3-4 years, has had this saying, this life-work balance. We're trying to make this a life-work balance where it works not just with your life, your personal life, but also with the IKEA life, a good match for everybody. So what happened is I had gone to the management and I said, look, you know, they've changed the shifts to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning start. Now, I've done graveyards. I've done all the different shifts that we've had here over the years. And I'm very flexible. You know, I've never been one who's complained. I've always just kind of gone with the flow kind of thing. But I'm not 20 years old anymore either. And when I had went to them and they said, no, it's not going to happen, you have to do it, I said, you know what, I'll try it. That way I can prove not just to myself, but I can prove to you that I can or cannot, because maybe I can, right? So I went and I did the shift for 4 nights, ended up sicker than a dog. Couldn't deal with it. Not me, my body, just says it ain't going to happen, right? So I went back to the company and said, look, I tried this, it's not working, not because I don't want it to, but because it's just not working. What else can I do? And they says, their response to me was that, get another job. No place for you here, get another job. So I had to go to the union. I had to talk to the union. The union stepped in, they supported me. They fought for me, if you want to put it in those terms or whatever. I have always been a 40-hour guarantee from the day I started back in 1981. I am now a 30-hour. That is all I'm guaranteed. There is work when I left because of the labor dispute. There was work every day for me to stay and do my 40 hours. There was work in other departments that I could have stayed, but no, we have no place for you here. So I am now a 30-hour guarantee, that's all I'm guaranteed. So I have to fight for my 10 hours. I put in 32 years supporting this company, helping this company grow, making this company what it is today, and then I have a situation that comes up in my life where I have to have a little bit of support from them, and their response is, see ya, get another job. No, I'm not a happy camper at all. This is wrong. This whole situation is wrong. This bullying tactics, people looking over at us and taking pictures of us, and you know, this is wrong. This is not the IKEA that I started out with. This is not the company. This is a totally different company. They've crapped on everybody who's out here, and it's wrong. So you take that back to Sweden and tell them. And this isn't just happening here. This is happening here in Europe as well. There's problems over there as well.
It's going on in a lot of countries. Yeah.
It's happening in a lot of countries, it's happening in a lot of businesses, but that still doesn't make it right.
No.
You know, I call us We the 300. There's a movie called 300. It's about 300 people who stand up and die for a cause, and we, the 300 out here, are standing up. We've drawn a line, and we're not going anywhere. You need to tell them that.
Yeah. Good one, brother.
Yep.
Here.
Yeah. Thanks, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for listening.
Yeah. We'll keep on walking down and talking to everyone.
Went to come back. It was right around Christmas time. My father passed away. So she called them up and said, you know, my father's passed away. She'd been here for 10 years at the time or more. And they said, well, I'm sorry, you don't have any bereavement because you were off on medical. She said, what are you talking about? And they said, well, no, you have to come back right now. And she said, well, but I'm, you know, I can't come back. I need to be here. And can I take holidays? No, you need to come back. As soon as she called me, crying her eyes out, I went and grabbed one of the managers, took her in a room and said, this is not how we treat people. This is not the IKEA way. And if this is the way that the company's going, let me off the bus. And she ended up phoning the HR and saying, no, you must take care of this person. But that's the way they're going, you know? Money, money, money.
We heard the same story from another guy over
Yeah.
there. And also they have reduced this from 40 hours per week down to 30 hours per week.
Yep. It happens all the time. And you know, like I said, it's very hard to to give an exact, okay, this is what they're doing and this is why we think it's union busting, but we feel it. I had a manager say to me one day in a room, she said, the relationship between management and union is broken. And I said, well, I didn't break it. So I don't know what you're talking about. Because we always worked so well together. Always. And very few grievances. We always settled things right away. And then this new regime came in and suddenly we're the pariah. And they're watching everything we do. And grievances up the yin-yang and they don't even want to hear about them. And it's just crazy.
Why did they change store managers so often here?
I don't know. That's the thing we don't get. The one that we have right now, she's not invested in this store at all. She was hired on for, I think, it was either 18 months or 2 years. And then she's off somewhere else. We barely met her. She never spoke at meetings. She hasn't been to any bargaining.
Yeah, she didn't involve herself in bargaining, which has always been typically the store manager was
at all. Or even in store meetings in the mornings. So we'll just nothing. She distanced herself so much from us. And that wasn't what we were used to. We had a store manager here back about 10 years ago, and he knew everybody's name. He would come downstairs and he'd say, how you doing? How's your family? He'd talk to you.
Comrade spirit.
Yeah. And he had worked in Sweden too, so he had that mentality too.
And that was what we were used to. And we went from that to these.
And I think it was his decision at the time when we were on strike last time to actually keep the store closed.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I'm not going to have the bad relationships that could happen between management and the staff, so I'm not opening the store. And he probably got, pretty sure that's why he's not around anymore.
It was 2007 when they did the last strike.
Yeah.
There's such a
and that was the difference between, that was probably the last good manager in the store at the time.
But they handed out those union busting cards back in the last strike, and it was an actual, and it said on there, I can't remember what did it say, and it basically said union busting, call these people. And this one guy from back east came to the store, and before we were voting, he was handing these cards out to everybody. And now they're a little more subtle, and they just do the labor watch thing. And they send the coworkers out to talk to us and say, oh, it's great here, you know, you guys should come on inside, the water's fine, that sort of thing, you know. They're treating us great, they feed us every day, they're paying us really well, come on in, right?
Yeah, of course, they only have 30 people on the payroll.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's not a benefit to them for us to go in because they won't be paying them as much once we all go back there.
No, of course not.
Yeah. So, you know, and to have some of them say, I make $2,000 a week, every 2 weeks, and, you know, all this stuff. I'm top rate, I don't make that. So you know they're paying them more than what they said they were going to. And spa days. We had a spa day in here, you know. They have masseuses coming in. They have 2 15-minute massages per day paid by the company. You know, this, to me, it just blows my mind. So you value them, but you don't. And you value for us.
But if I understand this right, there are usually 300 workers plus the management.
Yeah.
But now there are 50 all in all?
Well, there's 35 workers and probably about 20 managers, so yeah.
So 55 people is running the whole...
Well, 3 of the people that that crossed the picket line were told that they couldn't stay in there because they were hired after the notice to bargain. Mm-hmm. So they moved them to Coquitlam. 2 of them, from what we understand, have quit. So out of the 35, there's 30 left. But still, you know, and to see them come across and they taunt us, you know, and they come out and, you know, take my picture, and then give us the finger. It's just, you know, one of them was driving by the picket line, fuck the union, and yelling at us and stuff, and these are people that we used to have respect for in a way, we worked with. And now it's like, wow, where's this coming from? What are they telling them? It's like, this is communist China, and this is the rest of it out here, you know? The rest of the world.
So, it's not been that many customers here?
No, actually working in the department I work in, because I'm in cash, what we do is we have counters and we count how many people come in. And the general rule of thumb is you take all the visitors, you cut it in half, that's your customers, times it by 100, that's how much money they're making. They're not making much at all. We've heard it on good authority that they're making well under 100 grand a day, well under. So it's not about money for them. They're not making money right now. Customers come out and they tell us it's appalling in there, that people, there's nobody to be found, and when they find somebody, they're rude. There's no stock. But they still come. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The room settings haven't been refreshed or done anything.
Well, since catalog dropped, there's all new stuff now, but none of the room settings have been updated since we left.
And all the things that they used to profess to us and say, oh, well, you have to do this and you have to do that, they're totally going against all their own rules. You know, they say in cash you have to have 2 traditional tills open to every self-serve till, and you have to have 2 people on each one on the weekends, and they don't have anything like that now. They have all self-serve.
So what do you greet every single customer? No customers are getting greeted in there right now.
So what do you think will happen, since they're obviously doing nothing inside, and they are not contacted with the union?
I don't
outside?
know. The workers, it's from what we hope, will be expelled, so they won't be there when we go back. The managers now have been so used to doing bargaining unit work that it's going to be a huge fight. And I mean, I've been told personally that they're going to take a hard line, and they're going to be really on top of us when we get back. So it's not going to be a pretty place to be. That's for sure. But oh well.
Well, basically everything, like because they have been decreasing the number of hours since 2007. So I work as an hourly coordinator, and usually I'll have like another person, you know, with me when we open. Now it's down to me, myself, and I for a good 2 hours. Then a mid person comes in, and then the closing person. So on top of that, my regular duties, now I have to do more things, like I have to do like collect all these cardboards, you know, and then do a run with every department and collect all the cardboards. We tried so many different ways to be efficient, right? So now not only am I doing my own job, I'm doing, you know, 10 other things on top of what I need to do. So in essence, I may be getting, you know, like nearly $20 an hour, but they're making way more than, you know, from me than they're actually paying me, because I'm doing more than 2 persons' job.
Well, in my department alone, the bottom people on the schedule in seniority, the bottom 15 hadn't had a shift in weeks before we came out. Victor being one of them, hadn't had a shift in weeks because they cut back on the hours. They hired all these new people and then cut the hours completely.
Yeah. Well, that's what they weren't counting on. Yeah. See, in the old store, we're about close to 300 employees, maybe. Yeah. Not even.
No,
200,
not even.
200 something. Yeah. And that's with hours being cut down already. Yeah. So you know you're down to like bare minimum already. Now they hire over 100 new co-workers.
The workplace.
Yeah. So now all these people that applied for the job all have hopes that, oh yeah, I'm gonna get hours, I'm gonna get these benefits from IKEA. So they had false hopes. Yeah. And then a few months down the road, as this store opened, they're down to 0 hours. In the meantime, all the full-timers are like doing 2 or 3 jobs at the same time, doing double duty. That's how they're efficient about it, you know? So, and yet, you know, they're doing all these cost cutting, but they're not.
But the thing is, the way that I look at it is they bring all these people in and they're not giving them a lot of hours, and they're trying to hire people that aren't invested really in the idea of being union, so that their hope was they would have enough people that they could, you know, get a vote through and maybe get rid of the union if possible. But unfortunately they didn't count on the fact that these people are smarter than what they thought they were. They think they're stupid. They honestly, they walk around and they tell people that that Anita and the shop stewards are the ones running this show and telling everybody what to do. No, we're not. We don't have to. They can think for themselves. But they just don't see it.
Yeah, basically these people that they hired that they're hoping maybe will be the ones crossing the picket line are the ones adamant not to cross the picket line, and we're with them. We're full-timers. We're not going to be as affected as everybody else is, but we're fighting for the same, all of these new people, because it's not right. You promise them so many hours and yet you don't give them any hours. Like, how's that? How can anybody, fulfill their own obligations, like paying their bills, when they can't even get the right amount of hours to get the right amount of pay to pay your bills?
Support your kids.
So the reputation of IKEA as a good employer will be ruined.
Toilet.
Yeah. Well, no, it's changed.
And it will
like
spread around.
360 or 180 degrees.
I used to be proud to work here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my mother I have a collection of catalogs from back in the 70s. My mother was very proud to be a single mom and buy all their stuff from here. When I got employed here, it took a long time to get in because nobody left. Yeah. And I finally got in. She was so happy and I was happy. And, and now anybody says to me, do you want to go work for IKEA? No, don't.
I don't even recommend it.
Yeah, don't.
There was a time it's yes, go for it.
Yeah,
like do. When I came in here from from the Philippines in 1990. The first visit I have here, I had like, oh my God, this is a place I want to be. They had a good reputation, and I've been hearing good things about like, oh, they pay their people well, they treat their people well. And I thought, you know what, this is my goal. I want to be a part of it. And luckily for me, I went through like 2, intense interviews, panel interviews, and I made it through. I felt really good about it. I mean, made my work through and became a full-timer. And yeah, I work hard for where I'm at right now. So for them to take some of these benefits I'm already, experiencing is not fair, because I work just as much as what they pay me for. Well, maybe even more so.
I say that it's like when you buy a car. If I went out and I bought a car, I tell everybody this, and I bought a car tomorrow, and the main thing I wanted in a car was air conditioning. So I bought this car with air conditioning, I'm driving it happily, and a year later they come back and say, sorry, you can't have that air conditioning anymore, and they take it out, but they don't give me any money back or anything. Would I be happy? No, so why do they expect us to be happy with this? We came because of this, not in spite of it. This is what we came for.
Yeah,
so,
well, it's very strange. You could understand if they wanted to freeze the level of the wages and all the benefits, because
we told them we would.
Yeah, and if the company is doing bad.
Yes.
But in this case.
But see, the thing is, that's what they've been trying to tell us for the last since 2007. The stores, your sales has been really down, and the store's not performing well. The productivity is low. This is what they've implanted on us. So it's like we're questioning this. Why? And now, as this thing, comes into fruition, like this whole labor dispute, now you add one after another. Oh, this is why. They tell us it's all about productivity, when productivity is also about bringing in the products.
Yeah,
right?
Not bringing enough.
But they're not bringing. We have Coquitlam next door. A customer comes up to me, oh, I came here for this product. So we look it up, oh, I'm sorry, we're out of stock and we don't know when it's coming in, because it tells you that. You check on the Coquitlam store, they've got everything. You question why now, why? Like, and we're supposed to be kind of like the flagship store again. We're supposed to be a full store. And yet they can't bring in the products, and yet they can bring it into the Coquitlam store. Why is that? Now, just to point out, this is what you call about productivity, and you blame that on us? That's not fair.
Just one other thing to further as far as this. What I want to ask the company, is this all worth it in the end? All this reputation being damaged, the customers not shopping here, the empty parking lot, the empty restaurant, is it all worth it in the end? Please get back to the table and discuss this, and let's come to a solution. We don't think it's fair that you're asking us for concessions when you've made a profit. Thank you.
It's very strange.
And my thinking is, okay, you say sales goals and productivity. That's why we disagreed on that last contract that they offered. Because as soon as they attached the sales goals and productivity, I said that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen, because they're gonna pin it down on us. When in fact they're the ones who run the show. We don't. We only do what they tell us to do. So why are they pointing fingers back at us? We're not the ones responsible for running this building.
But that was a little bit of what I said this morning. You were also in the meeting.
Yes, I heard that. And you know what? The minute you said that, I went, Eureka. Somebody finally hears what we're saying.
Exactly.
It's not. We're not responsible for this. You know, like productivity is not something that we can control.
No.
We can't control profit.
They're the ones controlling.
Yeah.
We can only work as hard as we can and do
with the things you have in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we tell them all the time. I've told them because of the being in the cash department, and I do scheduling, and I've told them, if you don't have enough people down on the floor to serve the customer, and there's a lineup, the customer puts their stuff away and they turn around. And
turn around.
Yeah.
So this is all they're doing.
So don't put me down to bare bones. But they're not listening. I keep saying you need people to sell. You need people to make money. You got to spend money to make money, and they just don't seem to get it. So, and their budgets. I've said to them for years, you guys don't know how to forecast. They have never forecasted a Sunday budget correctly since God knows when. And I keep going to them and saying, why are you doing this? You forecast us to make like 300,000 on a Sunday, and we only do 2. We've never done more.
You know, I mean, this is also strange. I mean, IKEA is known, at least what they're doing, probably doing around the world. They don't open a new shop until they're absolutely sure that they'll make good money when they build up the new shop.
I have a theory. You know what my theory is? My theory is that when they went to open this store, they had to get approval from back east, or from Sweden, to open the store. And they projected numbers and said, we're going to make this amount of money. And then they realized they couldn't. And this is a great way to hide it, isn't it? Labor dispute? It's a great way to hide their numbers. Because they're definitely not even coming close, and they must have been getting a little... They probably should never have built this store.
Well, this was in the projects even before Coquitlam.
Yeah, but when
they
you look
put
at
it on the shelf
financially,
because, you know, they opened Coquitlam, and then, of course, our sales suffered.
They shouldn't have done that.
They shouldn't have done that. They're like, we're 45 minutes apart from each other.
They had land way out further away in a much better location, and they chose to do it in Coquitlam. And it's, you know, I don't understand what they were thinking. All of us, we shook our heads and said, what the heck are they doing? I know. And we're just workers. So,
in spite of that, we were happy to have a new building.
Hell yeah.
But then to run
they pushed it so quickly that even some of the people from the building company have told us, we're not responsible here. They made us go so quickly. There's stuff that was done here that not completely right.
Like you have leaky roofs for a new
Elevators are always broken.
Yeah.
You know?
Always sticky.
Yeah, it's always sticky.
Right, either you come in now, cross the picket line, or don't ever count on becoming a manager in this store or in this company. And in other words, anybody that's out here now hasn't got a chance to move up the ladder at all because we've been out on. So, I mean,
I've known them for a long time.
For me, it really hurt. Again, it cut deep. But, you know, he's a young kid, and he doesn't want to miss the opportunity, so he made the decision. But because they pushed that, right? It was like before we got locked out, during the entire time we were negotiating on a day-to-day basis, they were meeting one-on-one with everybody, and in an inadvertent way, threatening everybody to cross the picket line, you know. They'll look after them. We dealt with this morning and went about it. You saw the notice that everybody had received that they don't worry about the fines and this and that. Everybody has a right to work. We understand that. But when you first get hired here, you understand that you've also joined the union and you've made a commitment to everybody. And for them to turn their backs, it's really been a sore issue with everybody here. I mean, it's kind of unheard of, 35 people crossing a picket line. It's really, it's unfortunate, and it's something that, it drives us though. It drives us on the picket line. And it's made us that much stronger. The gentleman I was talking about earlier, he crossed about 7 weeks ago. He was the last one, and we lost 27 the very first week. So, you know, IKEA was expecting this snowball effect to get their 51% over a few weeks, and we're still out here.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's been an interesting situation because of, like, when you talk about union, like, right now I actually technically belong to 3 unions. So it was kind of a decision for me. I'm a student, basically full-time, been at IKEA for 15 plus years, made a decision because I wasn't going to move up into management. No, it wasn't your fault yet.
Yeah.
I actually told you to become a shop steward after they wouldn't hire me in management. But it was probably your fault anyways.
Yes.
It's always.
Put blame on it.
It's always my fault.
But I went, well, I'm going to go back to school. So I decided to go back to school, and my sort of degree will be in community rehab and disability studies. And so now I'm actually part of the hospital union and also the BCGEU. So for me, it's like I can't, it's like that concept of there's no way you can cross, because then it's like, well, then I'm completely crossing my boundaries of any other job in my future ever again. So it really seems like, and I just don't get how people could cross. That was kind of the biggest thing for me. That was probably the hardest, when you know people and have been friends with people, and you know they were the people that trained you right at the beginning, and they crossed, and you're just like, why? What's in it for you? And that's where I think it hurts the most.
The lengths that they went to get some of these people, they would say, oh, gee, if you don't want to drive across the picket line, or you can't get here, we'll come to your house and get you.
Yeah.
We'll drive you here. We'll drive you home. No problem.
Yeah, it's the
But out of those 35, though,
the older ones that hurt. Yeah, the ones that had been at IKEA for a while, and maybe they might had aspirations like that one to be in management. Maybe they made that decision that if they didn't, they wouldn't be in management. But there was ones that you just didn't know, and it just is hard to.
it's about 12 of them.
Yeah.
12 of them out of the 35 have been, you know, long-term employees that have crossed. That really hurt.
And most of them don't want to go to management.
The majority of the rest of them were only here for less than a year, and they're the ones that were at minimum wage at the time, had an opportunity. They were obviously told ahead of time prior to being locked out that if they crossed the picket line, they would be bumped up to 2109, which is the max rate. Anybody that's crossed that was already at max rate, like this gentleman I was talking about earlier, the other supervisor with Bernie and I, he's up to $29 an hour right now. That's what they're paying him inside, just to stay inside.
Plus the signing bonus.
Plus a signing bonus. So they gave them incentives to cross the picket line. It's not like they just said, okay, you're welcome to come back to work. You have a right to come back to work, and you'll be doing exactly what you've been doing before, plus just status quo on your pay and your wage and everything else. There's incentives there to cross the line, and to me, that's not right.
Bribe.
It's bribes.
Yes.
Hey, can we do a group shot?
Desk area in the office, and it's actually been really good to build these relationships out here and see who I'm actually working with.
How long have you been working?
Yeah.
12
we
years.
all march up to
12 years.
12 years. 12 years, yeah. It's been a long time, and this is the worst I've ever seen.
And people are saying the changes have been rough, and it's not
yeah.
the same as when y'all started. Huh?
No,
hey, brother.
not at all.
Thank you again for coming.
Absolutely. Happy to do it. Absolutely.
Not at all.
Oh, I guess we're all going to
And the
swing.
changes were really noticeable. Even since
And what's behind it? What's it? It's just money grubbing
Greed.
management out of the east, or what's
I think it's just greed.
Just greed.
It's greed, and they don't know how to. Clearly, they don't know how to run their business properly, and they're using us as a scapegoat. They're blaming us for, lost sales and diminishing customer base. It's like they build the store and they think they will come. It's like, where are they going to come from? The potholes in the streets, like where Coquitlam is, like 15 minutes away.
Yep.
So that was their first mistake, was building the Coquitlam store that close to us in proximity. Their second issue was the store, and not getting that first store up to par before building this one, and then hiring another 200 co-workers to work in here.
And when you say you do graphics, so what do you do exactly?
I do all the wayfinding, all the signage,
Oh,
do the
okay.
planning
Oh,
from
okay.
the small little vinyl to the big entrance sign to.
So you design it all?
posters. Yeah, we have a team. There's 13 graphics co-workers across the country that help. We do remote planning, or we do in-store in-store events. So the event staff show up.
I'm humbled by your work.
Thank
you. There's a real mix between folks, some have been here 20, 25 years, and some folks like you have been here.
Yeah, just 2 years. 2 years in February, I believe. So a year, almost 2 years.
For you, it's about the hope of holding on to a decent
paying job,
wage with benefits, right?
Yeah, because it's hard, like to find. I believe it's hard to find decent work for decent.
And are you full-time, guaranteed 30, part-time? What's
No,
your...
no, I was just part-time because I was still pretty low on the seniority.
So that two-tier proposal, would that mean you'd go on to the, you wouldn't get to the full rate, you go on to the second tier? I mean, I know they changed it, but that was the original proposal.
The original proposal, I think, was for new hires. So since I just I would probably just get in. So but I don't know. I'd have to look into that, to be honest. I don't know if I would be under or not. But if I was, yeah, then I would. I wouldn't get a raise ever. It would take me like 20 years to get to top rate. Which why would I want to stay for that? I would keep looking for something else.
So what has this meant for you and your wife this last 6 months?
Well, it's been a bit hard, but like I also was able to find a second job. I also work as a second job, so it's been good. So but there's times where it's just like we struggle with it sometimes. But my wife, she also works, so right now we're fortunate because we don't have the kids and everything, so it's just us two, so it's not as hard. But it's still. How much longer? If we did want to start a family right after we got married, and we've actually postponed that. We're like, no, we'll do that a little bit later. We'll wait till see where we have more security and stuff like that. And do that for sure.
What's going to end this? What's the bottom line here? What do we have to do to get this done? Get a decent contract.
For them to honor and keep what we already had, to keep. Why I applied here in the first place, because I thought it was a good company. It had good wages, good benefits, and now, a year and a half in, and now they're doing this to all their employees. It's a struggle sometimes, right? You just sit there and like, how can you do that to all your employees? And people that have been here for 22 years, they were here for 22 years for a reason, right? It was a good company to work for. I remember when I was younger, people always said, oh, if you get an IKEA, you're lucky, right? And now all of a sudden, it seems like it's changed so much. Right? I think that's the sad thing.
I think there's some IKEA workers around the world, Sweden, Germany, other places, that still have that same feeling about the company.
Yeah.
That people talked about when you were, people were saying this is a good place to work.
Oh, for sure.
What's your, what do you want to tell them from IKEA Richmond about, what IKEA is doing to you and what they should do to be in solidarity with you?
Oh, I think, they should, the same thing. They saw the company and they work for a company and they were told that, it's a great company to work for, and now it's just like, they just want to take us down and everyone work minimum wage and it seems like fast turnover, what they're doing. Like, they don't want loyalty anymore. They don't want that spirit of IKEA. Like, there will be no one that will say IKEA if they get their way in 10 years. They'll just be like, whatever, Walmart, and that's pretty much it, right? So, it'll get that reputation. I think so, if they continue the way they want to continue, for sure. So, all the support to be excited to work for a company like before, that needs to stick, I think, for sure.
What part of the store did you work in?
Just cash, or customers. It was fun. I enjoyed talking to customers all the time, and it was a fun part of my day, like getting to talk to people and enjoying who's out there and what's going on. It wasn't just another number or another thing, right? Excited to work for the company.
What is inside there these days with the skeleton crew they're working with? That's not the same experience, right? I mean.
Oh no, I have friends of friends on Facebook that are like even write little things like. I had one picture, it was funny. He said, if you want to see what the zombie apocalypse is, come to IKEA Richmond, right? Just nothing's in there. No one's helping them, no one's there, right? The experience, I believe, just from other social media sites, just seems like it's horrible. There was one social media site about an American guy. He came in and he was taking pictures of how empty it was. And he said the security were following him like he was a thief or like he was like and all he was doing is taking pictures because he was curious, right? And he said he had to hide in the washroom just to get away from all the security guards following him around. And that was some person posting on just a site saying, don't go there, it's creepy. And so yeah, their image, I think, is getting tarnished by this, what I've been reading, and what other people post on social media sites.
And that's apparently extending to other stores as well, huh? Like this other store on the other side of town. Huh?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know what the numbers are like over there. I don't know how many people are going there, but my friends and family, they won't go there. They're in support with me, and I remember my cousin came from somewhere else she didn't know, and she's like, let's go to IKEA, let's get my aunt saying, no, can't go there. And then, they didn't go, so yeah, it's just trying to figure out what's happening. But yeah.
So that was 2 weekends ago. So basically right where our tent is, they were on the inside. Sort of where the grayed out fences, whatever, they were on the inside. So we believe, and IKEA didn't deny it, that they were invited in, which is actually, they're not allowed to, because they're doing bargaining in at work. I mean, we sell hot dogs. We would sell hot dogs if we had a bistro running. And we had the bistro running at the beginning, and then they stopped it.
But that company decided not to...
after the social media blitz that happened, they decided not to come back the next day. And they were supposed to be there for 5 days or 6 days or something.
Okay. So. Has there been a lot of community support?
Yes.
Yeah? Lots of different folks coming out?
Yeah, we've had the BC Teachers Federation came out on Saturday. They were having a meeting out here, so they stopped by in the morning. I was up in the line and they said they're coming by around 1, and it was one of the rainy afternoons, and they stopped by with about 20 people or so, and just any little tiny bit of support helped us, right?
Yeah, so. That lifts spirits a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Anyone for cookies?
You met myself, my
Thank you.
These are from the restaurant. That's Fatia and Nancy.
Nice to meet you. From UNI, the Global Union, and also from UFCW, United Food and Commercial Workers Union. So we're here, we're part of the delegation to find out basically what's going on.
Thank you.
So, how long have you each worked here?
Same day.
Same day?
Yeah.
Yeah, when?
22nd of May last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's basically just under a year.
Yeah, and we didn't get to celebrate our anniversary. We did it outside here.
Yeah, you did it out here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, and how has things been going so far?
Oh, for us it's a little bit tough, especially for the benefits, like just to cover for me and plus my 2 kids.
Okay.
But for now, I don't have them. So
Right.
life is a little bit tough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you depend on the benefits.
Yeah, because like I love the company because it has very good benefits.
Right.
Yeah, and like now, like they want to reduce the benefits, like they want to reduce the hours.
Right.
And if they reduce the hours, then I'm not going to be eligible for benefits for me and my kids.
Right.
So everything is going to be. I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be comfortable working, knowing like this benefit is just for me and not for my family.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the main cause why I'm outside here.
Well, why wouldn't because you worked there for a year?
Yeah, just 1 year.
Why, if management was to say, why don't you just find another job somewhere else? What would you tell them?
For me, the first thing what really attracted me to this company is like the benefits plus the union.
The union is good.
Yeah, it's unionized.
Yeah.
So I knew I'm safe and I knew I'm taken care of. But now they want to cut everything. They want to cut the benefits, they want to cut the hours. Now if they cut the hours, then no benefits, then what? I'm done.
Yeah. So then what?
And yeah, we have families back home, yeah.
So your family's back home?
Yeah, in Africa, yeah.
So you
Every month.
So not only is it really expensive to live here, because
Yeah.
it is very expensive to
Very
live here.
expensive, then
You're
you have to
always
spend
sending
money.
money home
Yeah, because
to
like
support your families
yeah,
abroad.
Yeah, they know we are here, and like we have to take care of them. And if they cut my hours, they cut my benefits, and then like my wages are not going to be enough for me and my family. I have 2 families here and back home.
2 families.
Yeah, 2 families. My family and my family back home.
Right.
Yeah. So if the family back home is not happy, then I'm not happy too.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why we work, right?
That's why we work.
We work to support our families.
To support our families, that's right.
Well, thanks for fighting the fight.
Yeah, fighting you go.
You are fighting the
For
fight.
how long it will take,
Yeah.
we'll still be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, and we don't like, the other part of it, like, you see now, like, we thought like you're a big happy family. But like now we don't treat it like a family anymore. You see, like wherever you go, there's somebody following you at the back. People are videotaping you. What kind of a family is this? You know, like you ask a
We don't
question.
videotape our families.
We don't videotape our families. Being happy days. No, yeah, and like so the moral has gone down, unlike before. Like you know, like when we were inside there, anytime they call you, you're happy to go work. They extend your hours. You're happy to do it.
Yeah.
Because like you're doing it so that everybody be successful. You're successful, the company is successful.
Right.
Yeah, but the moment we stepped outside, everything has just, relationship has gone sour.
What do
Yeah.
you think would fix the relationship? How do we get to a resolution?
Back to the bargaining table.
Back to the bargaining.
But yeah, bargaining table, that's the main,
That's where we solve.
Yeah,
problem.
that's where we solve our problem, not
Negotiate.
this way, yeah, where like you feel like, for now when I come here, I don't feel like I'm safe anymore. I'm not, you know, like when you're just like somewhere and somebody's videotaping you, no matter what you're doing, like you're just standing there, somebody videotapes you. You know, that you don't have freedom anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they should just come to the bargaining table, retain the other contract, which we had before. Everybody was happy. We don't want anything more.
Right. That's what I've been hearing a lot. Is
Yeah.
people are not.
No. We don't want anything
Just want
more.
what we have.
What we had before, that's all we want. And respect.
And respect.
Yeah, they don't know why I'm outside here. They should respect my opinion why I'm outside here. Have reasons.
Yeah.
And them, they're inside there. I respect the opinions for them being inside there. I respect them, so they should. Everybody should have a boundary. Yeah. No pulling, nothing. Yeah, I wouldn't videotape them when I'm not videotaping them when they're working. So they shouldn't videotaping me when I'm outside here.
Yeah. Do you find that the people that the company has hired are being aggressive towards people? Like with because I've been hearing about people yelling at picketers and union members.
Yeah,
Have
there's
you
some
been seeing
people.
that?
Yeah, there's some people who come in, they yell at you because they're given wrong information and they get inside there. Like I have an instance one day I was on the other side. Somebody tells me, "How much do you earn?" I told them I'm earning $10.25 an hour. No, you're not earning $10.25 an hour. You earn $21. They're like, no. If I was earning $21, then I couldn't be outside here, right? So the thing is, they shouldn't give out false information. They should tell the customers what is right, because at the end of this situation, we're all going to go back to the family we were before. So if they start creating this kind of enmity between us, how are you going to be when you go back? Are we going to still have faith in them, like the way we had before?
Do you think that the company wants to reach an agreement?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
You think the company is okay with
I think they're
this?
comfortable.
Really?
If they were not, then they could have come to the bargaining table. But because they are comfortable, they're not. Yeah, that's my take of things. That's my opinion.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Cartoons or animation, but in Japan which is very rare. people take
Would
strike.
you be interested in having like a letter or something from the Commercial Workers Union in Japan about IKEA doesn't operate in Japan, do they? Do they operate? Do they have stores in Japan?
They have
5 stores?
Yeah. Yeah, well, more than that.
More than that
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And are you in touch with the union for the IKEA workers in Japan?
No.
Would you like me to try and make that connection?
Sure.
Yeah? Then we can talk to some of our, but anyway, you're saying in the local community, certainly people feel
really
like this is
against us.
an inappropriate activity
right,
based
and-
upon their understanding of
right.
labor management relations.
Yeah.
So you've written an article.
Yes, I did. I thought there's so many people are having the same idea, so I thought it's better just to write an article.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to local people.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
How's
so-
that? Has
it's
it been published any place
Yeah,
yet?
actually, just a couple of days ago, it's just published. Yeah.
In Japanese
in
publication?
In Japanese.
But for the local Japanese community here.
Here, and we can also read it on the internet, so internationally.
I need the URL. You'll send that.
Do
to
you
me.
have an English version of it?
I can get English,
Actually,
even if it's in
Ron-
Japanese. I just need it in Japanese.
Yeah, and actually Ron, another coworker from IKEA, he is he has some connections with JCCA. This is Japanese bilingual magazine. And he's trying to get my article into this magazine. And that's a bilingual magazine, so somebody can translate it in English. I'm hoping, so that I can share my article in English.
Send it over to me, and then I can make sure.
Okay, sure.
I mean, our IKEA Global Union Alliance, I don't recall having any representation from the unions in Japan for the stores there, but that doesn't mean they're not participating. So I can try and find out what that is and see if we can make a connection there as well. And whether it's that group of workers or not, we can certainly see if, I'm sure Japanese unions run across this as well. Maybe they've got some other things that they might point us to as well.
Yeah, that's why Japa dog, thing happened.
I did actually explain about Japa dog. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't know yet about
Grant
Japa
told me a
dog.
little bit about somebody trying to sell something here, and then they.
I kind of totally understand why he appeared here, because
IKEA
they
invited
really,
them.
and they don't really know what's going on. Like my coworkers at the my part-time job place. Yeah, because we really don't know about the strike, what to do and respond. So that's why they just appeared here. That's what I believe.
In your article, what were you trying to what was the message that you sort of conveyed over to the readers?
I wanted to say the truth, because all the other local media is telling a lie. So I kind of corrected from my point of our view. Yeah, about the and also my first voice is about the reasons why we are rejecting our their new contract. So no other media clearly mentioned that. So I mentioned because of this reason we are rejecting the new contract. Yeah.
It is the case in Japan that for a lot of the unions, activism and leadership in the union is part of sort of building your credentials towards getting into management at a later point. That happens in Japan as well. And there's an identification sort of being employed in a corporation, kind of like being part of a family a little bit. Everybody's supposed to be working together, but that's breaking down a little bit in Japan too. That's not the way that it used to be, I think, for some places anyway. So.
Yeah, well, I like for our readers to understand what we are doing and why it's important for everybody, locally, nationally. Yeah, and it's time to be educated because those local people, in North America, not in Japan.
Beautiful. I'd love to see a copy of that, Michiko. Thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou. Apologize.
It's my limited Japanese. That's
my apology, my English. I wish I can speak better, but yeah. But you can trust my Japanese article.
Recent immigrant from Japan. How long have you been over?
Here?
In Canada?
20 years.
20 years.
But my English still not good.
And how long working at the IKEA store?
6 years now.
Been through the hoops too.
Just for what division do you hold?
Kitchens department.
So you make the Swedish meatballs?
No, not the kitchens. Actually, the cabinets, the design.
Oh, I'm sorry. That kind of kitchen. Not restaurant kitchen.
No, I started with that position, so it's okay.
But you started in other departments and moved your way through.
Yeah, restaurant. Yeah, I started with restaurant. Yeah, so I used to serve meatballs.
Yeah.
And so, selling kitchen cabinets. So that's a staple of IKEA stores. I mean, as you're walking around the store and looking, you wanted to buy bedroom furniture, living room furniture, but also for the cabinets and the wall units and the books and all that kind of stuff. That's a bread and butter for what IKEA sells. You put it in the box, then you put it together, all that kind of stuff. That's part of the deal, right?
Just explain to Tim just what the requirements are for your job, like the knowledge and the skill set that you need in order to put these kitchen sales together. I think that's relevant.
To apply for the position?
Did they have to train you a lot?
Yeah, what the training was.
Yeah, I had 5 days training. Like,
they're inside the store.
Like 40 hours a week.
They want to make sure they come out.
Yeah.
Lock them in there.
Yeah, I also started myself.
They're locked inside. Good. Honey, bring them
How
out.
long? What is it? It's like a week of training. How do they train you to be able to work selling kitchen cabinets?
Oh, they have like a training manual. And one of the coworkers, a senior coworker, was chosen to give me a training, being together 40 hours per week.
Oh, so it's kind of on the job. Somebody else is working with you to get...
No, we were not in uniform for the week. And I had a training, entire training for 1 week. And then the following week I started being on the floor, little bit by little bit. Yeah.
And the IKEA training program, there's a series of IKEA college books that you have to complete, and you have to set them in 30-day intervals, and there are different levels of what you need to do in order to sell a kitchen. They're quite a complex system to put together when you're helping a customer, and there's a lot of computer skill that's involved when you're going into ordering these kitchens for the customers. It's actually a very highly skilled job, probably one of the highest in that store. So, yeah.
And those books are available in Japanese as well as in English? I suppose they would be for the Japanese stores, right?
Yeah, in Japan, I think, I heard they have those. Yeah. But right now the system has been changed. Not those
it's not books, it's online now.
Online now, yeah.
So would you mind speaking in Japanese for the recording? And maybe we send a video clip back to the Japanese workers in Japan for IKEA and tell them about your struggle here?
Right now, or
yeah, right now.
Share?
Right now. Yeah, sure.
You're doing a great job.
Why not?
Okay.
What should I say? About my situation?
About why you've been in lockout for the last 6 months at this. So you say, here's my name. I work in this IKEA store in Richmond, British Columbia in Canada. I've been working here for 6 years. I currently sell kitchen cabinets in that department. And about why the company has locked you out and why you've been on a picket line for the last 6 months.
So do I have like 3 minutes?
Okay, yeah, I'll stop this.
はじめまして、日本の IKEA の皆様、私の名前は、みちこダウと申します。リッチモンド IKEA に勤めて6年になります。キッチンの、部署に働いております。残念ながら5月13日より、ロックアウトということになりまして、未だもう6ヶ月以上になるんですけれども、約320人の従業員と、外でピケットになっております。日本のストライキとロックアウトと勘違いされている方が多いんですけれども、私たちは仕事に葬儀を起こしているわけじゃなくて、中に戻りたいのに中に入れないロックアウトという状態になっています。ですので、中に入るっていうことをラインをクロスするというんですけれども、それは、ユニオン側と IKEA 側が、交渉を持って話し合わない限り中に入れないことになっています。実はローカルの日本の雑誌に今の状況を説明するために投稿しまして、そちらに、詳しいことを書かせていただいているので、よろしかったら、フレイザーマガジンというんですけれども、そちらで検索、Google で検索したら記事が出てくると思いますので、見ていただけたらと思います。
皆様の協力を、お願いいたします。ありがとうございました。